The writings of Osman Spare, the Book of Pleasure and the Focus of Life, and Anathema of Zos. The Focus of Life, Osman Spare. Preface. The Mutterings of Eos. Picture, captioned now for reality. Picture, captioned Eos. Recovers from the death posture. Picture, captioned Nature is more atrocious. Aphorism 1. The effort of remembering in the valley of fire. Kia of the effigies speaks of Zos in soliloquy. I bring a sword that contains its own medicine, the sour milk that cureth the body. Prepare to meet God, the omnifarious believing, thyself the living truth. Die not despair, but that the world may perish. Nature is more atrocious. Learning all things from thee in the most sinister way for representation, from thy thought to become thereafter, having suffered pleasure and pain, gladly dost thou deny the things of existence, for freedom of desire from this sorry mess of inequality, once so desired, and is fear of desire, the addition of the eye of a greater of illusion. Desire is a conception I and induces thou. There is neither thou, nor I, nor a third person loosing this consciousness by unity of I and self. There would be no limit to consciousness and sexuality. Isolation, ecstasy, the final inducement, is enough, but procreate thou alone. Speak not to serve, but to scoff. Hearest thou heaven's loud guffaw? Directly the mouth opens, it speaks righteousness. In the ecstatic laughter of men, I hear the volition towards release. How can I speak that for which I have time that speaketh all things? Of what use are hints or stage whispers? True wisdom cannot be expressed by articulate sounds. The language of fools is words. In the labyrinth of the alphabet, the truth is hidden. It is one thing repeated many times. Confined within the limits of rationalism, no guess has yet answered. O Zos, thou art fallen into the involuntary accident of birth and rebirth, into the incarnating law ideas of women. Correction. It is one thing repeated many times, confined within the limits or rationalism. No guess has yet answered. O Zos, thou art fallen into the involuntary action of birth and rebirth, into the incarnating ideas of women, our partial sexuality entangled in the morass of sensual law. On earth the circle was fabricated. The origin of all things is a complex self. How shall it be made the end of things? Dubious of all things by this increase in ignorance of individuality, I or self and conflicts separate. This forgetfulness of symbole becomes the unexplored reason of existence, unable to conceive the events of the present. What shall be knowledge of past and future? Verily this Creator speaks, I know not what I do, and in this living nightmare, where all is cannibalism, what dost thou deny thyself? Verily man resembles his Creator, in that he consumes himself as much filth. Heaven gives indiscriminately of its superabundance to make the ghastly struggle called existence. The necessity was deliberate serving of its own pleasure, becoming more alien. Remoteness from self is pain, and precocious creation. Through this remoteness from self thou dost not hear thine own call to potentiality thyself. The living self does not habitate. There is no truth in thy wish. Pleasure wearies of thee. Ecstatic fulfillment of ecstasy. Is it asking too much? Alas, the smallness of man's desire. Thou shalt suffer all things once again, unimagined sensations, and so consume the whole world. O Zeus, thou shalt live in millions of forms, and every conceivable thing shall happen unto thee. Remember, these senses are that which thou hast desired. What is all thought but a morality of the senses that has become sex? What is desired of the self is given eventually. The desire is sufficient. The self will pleasure in all things. There is only one sense, the sexual. There is only one desire, procreation. I am the cause, thou the effect. I am all that I conceive. Not for all time, but at some time. I multiply, I is creation, this sexual infinity. There is no end to the details of my extreme likeness. The more chaotic, the more complete I am I. Correction, the more chaotic, the more complete am I. The soul is the ancestral animals, the body, their knowledge. This omnivorous soul, how lusty it would seem to be everlasting in its suicide. These modified sexualities are the index of knowledge. This realized, the dualities do not obstruct with associations that involve infinite complexities and much education. Existence is a continuation of self-realization, to create value where there is none. By all desire being one, there is no overlapping nor the later necessity of undesiring. Complex desire is a further creation of different desire, not the realization of desire. O Zeus, thou shalt die of extreme youth. Death is a disease of fear. All is a backward walking, realized incapacity of volition. To walk towards thyself, with thine infinite self-multiplication of associations, thou knowest all things. Among sentient creatures, human birth is highly desirable. Man desires emancipation, liberation to his primeval self. Remember, didst thou leave the high estate for worse things? Man becomes what he relapses into. O Zeus, thou art fallen into the incarnating ideas of women, cast into demoniacal molds. Human nature is the worst possible nature. The degenerate need women dispense with that part of thyself. Give unto her all thy weaknesses. It is the suffering half. Pain awaits him who is sentimentally desirous. Be it thus. Woman, there shall be no vintage from our kisses, and man and woman is thy being. But I say, thou couldst create this body anew. Awake! The time has come for the new sexualities. Then would be the occasion for greater pleasures. To improve the species, ye men must love one another. This old illusion of righteousness has gained a future state wherein men labor about every doubt. Correction, this old illusion of righteousness has gained a future state wherein men labor every doubt. Thou art that which thou dost prefer, the seer, the instrument of seeing, or the seen. Conscious desire is a negation of possession. the procrastination of reality. Make thy desires subconscious. The organic is creative impulse to will. Beware of thy desire, let it be something that implies nothing but itself. There are no differences, only degrees of sensation. Provoke consciousness and touch, ecstasy and vision. Let thy highest virtue be in satiety of desire, brave self-indulgence in primeval sexualism. Realization is not by the mere utterance of the words I am I, nor by the self-abuse, but by the living act. If the desire for realization exists in thee, sensuous objects will continually provide conveniences. Realization of this self, which is all pleasure at will, is by consciousness of one thing in belief. To be the same is a difficulty. Thought is a negation of knowledge. Be thy business with action only. Purge thyself of belief. Live like a tree walking. Take no thought of good or evil. Become self-active causality by unity of thine. I and self. Reality exists, but not in consciousness of such. This phenomenal I is nominal, and neither. Now thus is concentration explained. The will, the desire, the belief lived is inseparable, become realization. Truth concerns exactitude of belief, not reality. He who has no law is free. In all things there is no necessity. Become weary of devising wisdom and morals. Many unseemly words have been spoken into self. Many unseemly words have been spoken and self-slandered. What more painful than that? For in the mud I tread on thee. The path men take from every side is mine. There is nothing more to be said. I, infinite space.